We come from the forests. We've spent millions of years in the past living in forests, and body and mind, we're bonded to forests. And we destroy those forests, we're destroying an avenue back to our origins, but we're also destroying something that's unique and hugely important for the well-being of the human soul, for our mentality. Well, humanity's at a point of crisis. We all know that. The globe's heating because we're extracting fossil fuels, but also because we're destroying forests, because they are living banks of carbon. It's a huge impact.
Takayna, it's a home of forests that started 150 odd million years ago, and they're still there. These are remnants from the dinosaur era that are only in a few countries in the world. It links us to South America, to Antarctica, to New Zealand, and we are standing with those traditional owners and saying this needs to be protected for the world, for its values.
We're hoping that people will come to see the Tarkine, because to come and see it and to feel the wonders of the nature that's there is to want to save it.
I'm Sarah Marquis, and I'm sitting in Corinna in the middle of the Tarkine, my first time here. And I came with a group of friends and my daughter mainly who interest me in coming over here. We're here to just find out what's going on. There's some mining and there's some logging, and just learn more, to see both sides of the story really.
You have the beautiful sense of awe when you're in an amazing place, which you would experience on your own, but then being with other people, experiencing that together, like you feel such a special sense of community, like you're all there and you're experiencing the same thing and you know you're all feeling the same thing.
When you look at the forest itself, that's truly humbling to see what nature can create, you know. And we're trying to recreate this, you know, with engineering and stuff like that. We're so far from what's really needed. I just can't wait to bring other people, you know, that I care about, you know, bring them and seeing what I've seen. And hopefully they can witness the same thing and feel the same magic, you know.
The splendour here that just seems to abound in a forest is there forever. Why can't we be very clear to retain and preserve it for the future and for something my grandchildren can enjoy?
We're all very aware of climate change, and the destruction of native forests is one of the top 3 causes of climate change. You know, this is the largest temperate rainforest we have in Australia. It's the 2nd largest in the world. And the impact of that on the climate in terms of it being a carbon sink and its biodiversity and its home for many endangered species is so important to the entire ecosystem.
In the last 7 years, 2,500 hectares were scheduled to be logged. Only 48 hectares have been logged because of the work we've done.
The reality is the native forest timber mills are fairly small operations. It's 1,100 jobs in the entire industry. That's everything from the bureaucrats to the planners to the chainsaw salespeople to the timber mill workers to the truck drivers to the people cutting the forest and the salespeople selling the timber. It makes up around 0.5% of workers in Tasmania. And a lot of those jobs could be retained in the restoration programs that are going to be needed to restore those forests that have been degraded by native forest logging. A lot of those skills are going to be transferable. There is a better future.
So the other thing is, of course, we're up against big money. The mining corporation that wants to put a waste dump in the Tarkine is state-owned in Beijing.
This tree is definitely less than 50 metres. The tailings will be towering over the top of that. This whole valley, 25 million cubic metres of stuff they need to dump into it. So look, the tailings dam is a large area where they dump sulphide wastes from mining. The Usually when you're mining a metallic resource, you're pulling up a sulphide material, you're removing those metals from it, and then you need to dump those tailings into a facility which, in theory, removes oxygen. When there's oxygen exposed to sulphides, you get sulfuric acid and you get a problem. Every time the wind blows, every time it rains, every time there's movement of water flowing into that site, it's adding oxygen to the mix. So there's not a tailings dam in Australia that really works. The modern best practice is to take those tailings, to crush them into a powder, and then combine those with concrete and use them to fill voids in the mine. It puts it back underground, it locks it away from oxygen. It's a safer option, and it should be what we're doing in the 21st century.
The Tarkine rainforest is the largest temperate rainforest in Australia. It's the same size as the Daintree rainforest in North Queensland, which is World Heritage. The Tarkine's of World Heritage, but it's being denied that by the big political parties at state and federal level.
To get World Heritage listing, Australia needs to nominate it. Tasmania needs to be the nominee, you know, and for that we need all sides of the community to work together. We need to keep this intact for the planet.
It's part of every Australian's heritage. It should be national heritage. It should be world heritage. It should be returned to the Aboriginal people. And I know from my own experience, there's nothing more rewarding than standing for a place you know should be there for the next generation and the generation after that to enjoy. And the Tarkine is a very special one of those places.